It's an interesting conversation you wrote about in your column up this week called The Interim Coach Dilemma. What's on your mind as it pertains to Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce?
You know, I was doing some research and I came across some stats about interim coaches, and it reflected me on a story that I knew of whenever you go down this interim coach. And I've been part of organizations that have had interim coaches, and it's really very challenging. It's the substitute teacher problem, right? You know, teacher's out today, substitute comes in, okay, it's a day off for everybody. It's a little bit like that in the NFL. And so when Marty Schottenheimer in 1984 became the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, he demanded that either Art Modell give him a 4-year contract or he could have somebody else be his interim coach. He wasn't going to go through it all. Modell acquiesced. The players knew it. They responded. Went 4-4 over the second half of the season after starting 1-7. One of those losses came in overtime, really turned the team around. The next year, make the playoffs, getting better. Antonio Pierce comes in, and takes over a team in the last 9 games, and he's fighting for his job, right? And so he does. He's an ex-player. He does things that make the players kind of buy in. He does it, and they win. They go 5-4, play really good defense in 4 of those 5 wins tremendously. Don't have much offense. But my point of the column is, of the 46 guys, Stormy, that have been named interim coaches from 2000 to last year, 12 of them went on to become full-time coaches at their team. There's really only been 2 that have been successful. We saw Doug Marrone in Jacksonville have some modest success. And then the Clapper, my man Jason Garrett, went 9 years in Dallas. And he's probably the most successful interim coach of all. And he had 1 good year, 1 bad year, 1 good year, 1 bad year. But he's the most successful of the interim, because when you become an interim coach, you have to win over the locker room. You have to get everybody behind you. When you become the full-time coach, you got to change your demeanor, and through that change becomes a little bit of a problem. Look, I'm not making it up. History shows it, right? History shows it. And then add in fairness to Pierce, the Raiders drafting is one of the most untold stories that has gone on since really Mark Davis took over. It's been a disaster drafting. And it's not just Gruden's fault. It's Jack Del Rio's drafting. It's Reggie McKenzie. It goes on to Josh McDaniels. It's not been a very cohesive farm system, if you will.
Yeah, the history
of
first-round picks is not been great.
No, they've been ugly. And so you're not only are you an interim coach, you're taking over a team that doesn't have good defensive line, but where else are they good? Now, I'm told, and I would love to hear your commentary on this, that people are betting them on the over 6.5. Why?
I think that speaking of believing the hype, which is a segment we're going to do here coming up in a few minutes, is I think that they are buying what Antonio Pierce is selling, and the way that the defense did step up, and you bring in Christian Wilkins to fortify that side of the board alongside that side of the ball alongside Max Crosby. If you are able to get decent enough quarterback play, there are weapons in Devontae Adams and go on down the list. So I wouldn't do it. I understand why people would, though. Minus 135, the price there, so it is played to the over. I just keep on going back to, Michael, we know that he is a hype man. Antonio Pierce is the quote-unquote player's coach. The way he was received by the team, I think, paired with the Rich Bisaccia of it all and how much people were pushing for him to get the job and he didn't, left Mark Davis very little choice in the matter of what he was going to do. It had to be Antonio Pierce. Now it's just a matter of, is that going to work? And apparently some people believe they do. I don't know. I just feel like it's an uphill battle in the AFC West.
I do too. I think it's hard. And I do think, look, I do know this from having been in the league, that it's just like what's going to happen in New England. When one coach leaves, there is an uptick, but then that doesn't last very long, and the next season always becomes harder.